Hi everyone, this is Jane here from Crystal Sparkles Readings. I'm just here to pop down some cards for the day for us using the Black and White Tarot and the Mystical Shaman Oracle. So let's have a little look, have a quick shuffle. Okay, so the card we've got for today is the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords, there's no getting away from it. The Nine of Swords is quite a difficult card, and it does talk about the need for some healing. So whether there's some kind of past hurt or something in your life, this quite often comes up when we're looking back at things like when we've lost somebody. There's a healing attached to that needs to be done. And the Nine of Swords is kind of all about that energy, really, about being very gentle with ourselves, being very mindful of our emotions and what we need to be dealing with. So it's quite a sad card. It talks about endings. It talks about having to kind of come to terms with all of that kind of thing, loss and bereavement and all of that kind of energy that comes with the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is no getting away from it. It really is not a happy-go-lucky card. So if you find yourself today in an energy of feeling sad, just kind of really thinking about the things that are making you sad or the things that you are sad about, that's the energy that this card carries. So it's a difficult one. And all I would say is when this card comes up is to just be really kind and gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. If you feel sad, it's okay. You know, it's really important with the law of attraction to try and be in an energy of manifesting what you do want. So thinking about what you do want rather than what you don't. That being said, it is just not human to be permanently upbeat all the time, and that's why I'm not one of the whole positivity police thing. Yes, it is great to be positive as much as you can, but there are things in life that have a sadness attached to them, and that's okay too. You know, we can't have the light without the darkness. You can't have the good without the bad. If you just had constant daylight, you would never know that daylight was what you really liked. It would just be there all the time. You'd never have the contrast. It's important to have that contrast. You know, the fact that some things are in our life that cause sadness, or that there is sadness about, it helps us to understand the difference and to see that there's happiness too. And you know, you have to have that. You can't, it's like I say, you can't have light without the darkness. It just kind of doesn't work that way. Life's not like that. So we need to acknowledge our pain sometimes, and I'm not saying you need to go in there and dwell on it for months, or dwell on it 24/7. You can kind of be sad, but kind of be aware that is something that is not going to last forever, and that you're not going to kind of sit in that energy for any longer than you really need to. I mean, I do think it's important to acknowledge our pain, because if we don't, we can't really move on from it. If you never acknowledge it, then you just lock it away, and that's denial, and that's a different thing altogether. So, you know, if we can acknowledge our pain and be free to say that, you know, this is something that is really sad for me, and be able to cry about it and have those emotions and accept that those emotions are part of life and not beat ourselves up for feeling that way, our healing happens much quicker than if we lock it away. Okay, so let's have a little look and see what we've got with the Mystical Shaman Oracle for today. Okay, we've got the Time Master again. So that's quite interesting, because I did waffle on for a very long time yesterday about the Time Master, and I won't repeat all of that again because I don't want to bore you. But there is this whole idea that time is not linear. I explored it a little bit yesterday, and it is quite confusing. It's quite a confusing concept, you know, that actually it's not just straightforward. It's not just morning, lunchtime, evening, tea time, bedtime. It's not like that. It's not always. The concept is that time is kind of infinite, and that it's in many different comes in many different formats, in many different places, in many different ways. So, you know, there are alternate realities and all of that kind of thing that goes with that Time Master card. But what the card said when I read the blurb about it yesterday is about being able to look at the past in a different way. And that Nine of Swords is sitting there talking about past hurts, sadness, bereavements, loss, and the Time Master comes with that, and I believe the Time Master has come with that today to ask us to try to heal from that past and not allow that past to affect our future. You know, to be able to look at something and go, yeah, do you know what, that was not great, but I don't need to live my life by that pain. I can choose to acknowledge it, heal from it, and move forward. And yes, of course, there will still be a sadness attached to that, but not a sadness that prevents you from moving forward and from being in the moment of enjoying your life right now. That's why I feel like I'm looking at this, and perhaps it just came up again to kind of revisit that whole Time Master concept, which, as I said yesterday, it does your head in a little bit, and it is a little bit sort of weird, but I'm aware of that. But I kind of do like the idea of that, you know, time not really being the way that we traditionally believe it is, and that there might be more to it all. So yeah, I think today my message and what my guide has given me is be kind and be gentle to yourself and to others. You never know what other people have been going through, and they don't know what you're going through either. So, you know, if we're kind and gentle to each other and with each other, you know, do no harm is kind of a really good way to think about being today. So I'll leave that with you today. It's another quite deep one. It's all a bit going on this week. I'll leave that with you. I'll be back again tomorrow to pop down another card for the day, all being well. So I will speak to you then. Bye for now.